Good afternoon, and you're very welcome to our information session on the UCD Sanctuary Programme. This will be recorded and will be available on our webpage. So first of all, let me introduce ourselves. So my name is Fiona Sweeney and I'm Head of Outreach, Engagement and Transition. And I'm also joined by my colleague, Trace Fitzgerald, who is Student Support Officer with the University Access Programmes. So UCD's mission and vision and ambition is to be a university for all, where all students feel welcome, regardless of the background, age, circumstances that they've come from. So we have 1/3 of our student population is made up of students from diverse backgrounds, and we have ring-fenced a quarter or 25% of our first year places for all of the various pathways into UCD. So what we are going to cover this evening is we're going to give you some information on the university, the Sanctuary Programme. We are going to focus on the admissions pathways into UCD. We'll talk about how to apply for those particular pathways. We'll give you some information on student supports, post-entry supports. We'll give you a little bit of information on some of the state supports that are available for students in international protection. And there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions at the end. So we're very much going to focus on the pathways that are available to study in UCD. If you're looking for information and guidance around careers, the Adult Guidance Service is very helpful. It's a community-based service, it's free of charge, and it's in lots of different communities in the catchment area. So if you were looking for help around guidance, that we would suggest that. So UCD became a University of Sanctuary in 2018. And what that means is that UCD is welcoming students in international protection and also academics and scholars. And at that time, we set up our Sanctuary Programme, which is a scholarship programme. It provides two forms of support. One is it's a fee waiver of all the fees around the course. Then it also gives students a maintenance support, and there's also academic and social supports associated with it as well. So just a little bit. So this slide gives you an overview of all of the ways into UCD. So as you can see, it goes from open learning, which is part-time study, all the way over to graduate and transfer. So this slide gives you, I suppose, an overview of every way of getting into UCD. And what we're going to focus on now this evening are the undergrad pathways into UCD. So we'll first of all look at that, and then we look at the postgrad. So at undergrad, there is a number of different ways of entering UCD or studying in UCD dependent on the programme. So I'm going to give you just a little summary of each one. So starting off with the disability access route to education. So this may be of interest to you yourself or to members of your family. It is based on the Leaving Cert system or on A level. So if you have either of those qualifications, if you're under 23, you can use this as an entry pathway. It's for students that either have a disability, mental health condition, or a learning difficulty. So you get a reduced points on your CAO offer, and you get post-entry supports. And as I said, you need to be under 23 for this particular entry pathway. If you are a person with a disability, you can get supports, reasonable accommodations, academic and class supports, and you don't need to have come in via that programme. So regardless of how you enter UCD, there's post-entry supports for disabilities. So next we're going to move on to the HEAR. So it's the Higher Education Access Route. Again, this is based on the Irish Leaving Cert. Again, it may be of interest for you or members of your family. You need to be under 23 for this programme. It's targeting students that have come from a low income background or are going to a DEIS school and are on receipt of social welfare. So it's based on 6 indicators. So low income, attendance at a DEIS school, receipt of social welfare, in receipt of a medical card, living in an area of disadvantage, and also then one of the occupations that are underrepresented at 3rd level. You need to be a resident of the Republic of Ireland because the indicators are based on Irish indicators. Again, you're offered a place on reduced points, and also you get dedicated financial, academic and social supports as well. So moving on then, the next entry pathway we have is for mature students. And to be a mature student, you need to be over 23. And what this application, it looks at your previous experience, be it work experience or study experience or personal vocational experience. We have a ring-fenced number of places available, and it, as I said, it is based on your prior learning or your prior experience. You need to complete a personal statement and a CV, and then any certificates or awards that you have. For students that are interested in medicine or in nursing, there is an additional written exam or written state exam that is part of that. So that's our mature entry. Next, then we have our using a QQI or a further education qualification. So, excuse me, you might be studying a course in a further education college at the minute. So 22 programs here in UCD have developed this as a pathway. So there might be specific modules that you need to do. And then the other thing is that you need to have distinctions in at least 5 of the modules. So on on the UCD admissions website, you'll see a full list of all of the programs that take the further education qualification as an entry pathway. Next, moving on, we have our university access course. And this is part-time, and it's very much designed to prepare mature students for successful study at UCD. So there's 2 options or 2 strands. So one is the Arts, Humanities, Social Sciences and Law strand. So that's AHSSL. And then the other strand is the Engineering, Science, Agricultural Science, Computer Science, Medicine and Vet Medicine, and that's SEAM+. So you choose which one you want to go, and it directs you towards those particular courses. So who is the university access for? So it is for students, I suppose, that have no formal qualifications. They would like to return to study and learning, but they're not really sure. So it's there very much to build study skills and to build confidence and give you an opportunity then to progress to a number of different degrees. So since from this year, the age requirement for the arts, humanities, social sciences and law has been removed. Young adults can apply for that particular programme, and also there's just some additional access criteria that you need to meet for eligibility. So next we're going to move on then to this is our university access continued. So this just gives you apply online, and also there are some fees associated, but if you are eligible for the sanctuary program, those fees will be waived. So you won't need to have, you won't be paying those fees. So I'll just move on then. So the next we're going to look at then is the open learning. And this has been designed to take advantage of the modules that are available in first year. So students can take a module, build it up into 6 modules, and then use that as an entry pathway. So you can either do it for interest or for credit. And it will open in August 2024. Okay, so we've given you an overview of all of the different ways to get into UCD. So a question you need to ask yourselves is, are you college ready? So what we would suggest is that you can consider the time commitment that is involved in it, the finances, getting to and from UCD. Do you need childcare, and is there flexibility then? Do you have flexibility around critical periods? So studying can be very rewarding, but it does require dedication and focus. So I suppose it is important that you consider these factors, which may not, when you're deciding whether or not to accept a place in studying in UCD. So just to summarise, the open learning and the university access, they're both part-time, but all of the other pathways in are into full-time degrees. So I'm now going to pass you over to Therese, who's going to talk to you about how to apply to UCD. Yep.
Thanks, Mia and Fiona. So I'm just going to run through how to make an application. So Fiona's talked about all the different pathways. She mentioned here and there through the central application system. So it's called the CAO. What I would advise is that you go to UCD admissions webpage, because you would have to complete an assessment to figure out if you are categorized as EU or non-EU for fee purposes. So I've linked the website there on the slides, which we will share with you. So it's UCD admissions website, and it starts with asking what kind of applicant are you? And there's a series of questions, and then it'll advise whether you're EU or non-EU. And depending on whether you're EU or non-EU, that's how you apply to UCD. So if you're EU, you'd be applying through the CAO system. And at this stage, some of you may have already submitted your CAO application. And if you're non-EU, you'd apply through UCD Global. And it's pretty straightforward. If you're applying through UCD Global, you literally just Google UCD Global, and they've got an Apply Now button at the start. For the University Access course and Open Learning, which Fiona spoke about, you apply directly to UCD. Again, the link to the application form is on our website, which is shared there as well. When applying or being awarded the Sanctuary Scholarship, it doesn't exempt you from the general entry requirements of the course. So all we do at our end is we assess your eligibility for the Sanctuary Scholarship. But in terms of applying for a course in UCD, that assessment is done independently to us. And if you're applying directly for an undergraduate program or you're applying for a postgraduate program, then you'll have to meet the entry requirements of that program, and there could be English language requirements. For Open Learning and University Access, there isn't English language requirements, but you do have to give evidence of your previous education, and you come in an interview, and I suppose we determine whether maybe it would be better if you did an English language course, rather that you mightn't be quite ready to come in to do the Access course or Open Learning. So as I said, I think the best advice to start with would be to go to UCD admissions page, just to figure out, do that fee assessment form and to figure out if you're EU or non-EU. If you're applying for a graduate program, then you can go to the UCD Graduate Studies, and you'd be clicking on I'm a prospective graduate student. It would give you the list of courses, and it'll indicate how you apply for them. In terms of what the UCD Sanctuary Programme provides, as Fiona said, it covers full tuition and fee coverage. And also there's an annual maintenance payment. It's a variable rate. The rates are listed on our website, but it depends on the distance you are from the university and whether you're studying part-time or full-time. As a Sanctuary Scholar, you'd also get invited to our Access and Lifelong Learning Student Welcome. This takes place generally in early September or maybe late August, and it's an opportunity for you to come in on campus, meet fellow students, figure out, navigate through the campus, and I suppose get an idea of the kind of supports and things that are available, and get to talk to people who might be on your program before you even get started. There's also practical guidance is offered through support workers in Access and Lifelong Learning. And of course, each program in UCD has a student advisor as well. In terms of post-entry supports, there's disability support, as well as academic support. We run an academic skills workshop, a series in the first semester. You'd all be welcome to sign up for that. Or actually, you can go online, and a lot of those workshops are available online throughout the year as well in Brightspace, which is our virtual learning system. And there's also guidance on financial support. The scholarship is available to students in Open Learning, University Access, undergraduate or graduate programs. In terms of other supports, UCD also has a writing centre. So this is a really great support, academic support. So if you needed assistance in terms of like structuring assignments, how to do referencing, then you can book in to go to the writing centre, or you can drop in. There's also a math support centre. Each college has their own college office, and that can be a really great support. They can be really useful in terms of registering for modules, or if you needed to change anything. And as I said before, there's a student advisor, which is attached to every program, and they offer personal support, social support, or maybe if you're struggling with your studies, they'd be a great point to call as well. And then there's supports through the library as well. In terms of the number of scholarships available, so for the upcoming academic year, we have 6 scholarships in the University Access Programme, 4 for open learning, 10 for undergraduate programs, and 7 for postgraduate programs. If you want to think about your eligibility, so if you are eligible for state support, which I will mention or talk through in a minute, then you're not eligible to apply for the Sanctuary Scholarship. State supports would be things like SUSI, which is Ireland's student grant system, or maybe Back to Education allowance, or there is a student support system for those in international protection that have been in international protection system for 3 years. Generally, to be eligible for state supports, you'll have to have been in Ireland for 3 of the last 5 years. If you're not eligible for state supports, then I'd recommend that you apply for the Sanctuary Scholarship. So you have to either be seeking international protection or have refugee status, subsidiary protection, or leave to remain except at deportation stage, and already have applied for a course at UCD. We can't really assess your Sanctuary Scholarship until you get a course offer. And as I said, the Sanctuary Programme is intended only for those who are not eligible for state supports. Oh, sorry. So we do give priority to applicants who have lived in Ireland for more than 12 months, who are living in direct provision, who've completed the UCD University Access Programme or open learning and are progressing onto a degree programme. We also give priority to students progressing from UCD undergraduate programme to a professional master's programme, to students living within 30 kilometres of the UCD Belfield campus, to students with reputable income of 26,200 or less, and to those who are on the International Protection Country Priority List. All of those are listed on our website as well. How to apply. So you apply for a course first. You can apply for a course and apply for the Sanctuary Scholarship, and you might still be waiting the outcome of whether you get an offer or not. That's okay if you want to have both applications in. As I said, we won't really be assessing the scholarships until the course offers are made. And you apply online. If you go to the Sanctuary Scholarship website, you'll find a link to the application there. So complete the online application and then submit all the supporting documents, or the required supporting documents. This is what our Sanctuary website looks like. If you scroll down, there's a section that says how to apply. That will link you to the application. When you click how to apply, you have to set up a UCD Connect account. That's pretty straightforward. You just need an email address and then you create a password. And that's how you'll continuously log into your application and into the application system. So try to make sure you remember what email address you used and what password. Then you'll click onto this page, the new application system page, and you create a new a new scholarship application. And then you'll click on the Sanctuary Scholarship after that. In terms of the application form, the first part is pretty straightforward. It's just personal details. And then after that, there's a series of questions around like, what's the basis of your permission to remain? Please choose the date of entry. Have you applied for international protection? What type of program are you applying for? What's the name of the program? Are you progressing from university access or open learning? Have you applied for any other scholarships? Do you live in direct provision? And then to share your CAO number if you've applied through the CAO, or your UCD student number or applicant number if you've applied through UCD Global. We do also ask for a short supporting statement, just telling us how the Sanctuary Scholarship would benefit you. In terms of supporting documentation, there is a section at the end, and that's where you upload documents. So you've got your financial documents to upload, and then also to upload evidence of your status if you're in the International Protection System, refugee, or you've subsidiary protection or leave to remain. So there'll be an income declaration form. So that's part of the financial documents that you can upload. You can download that from our website. In addition to that, you might upload a statement from social welfare. That would indicate if you're receiving any payments from social welfare. That could be like your daily expense allowance. Or if you've been working in Ireland in 2023, then you might provide what's called a statement of liability. And that gives us an indication of all income that was earned in 2023, and it's income from 2023 we're looking for. If, of course, you don't have any evidence from 2023, you can provide evidence from 2024, but it is generally the year before we're looking for. All the documentation is listed on our website as well. In terms of evidence of your status, a letter which confirms you're seeking asylum, or that confirms your status, or that contains your Irish Naturalisation and Immigration Services person ID number. So applications are open now. The deadline for undergraduate and postgraduate programs is the 31st of July. And then the deadline to apply for the Sanctuary Scholarship, if you're applying for university access or open learning, is the 4th of September. Outcomes are likely to be mid-August to mid-September, depending on UCD offers. So state supports, I had mentioned these briefly, and I do think if you're considering applying for the Sanctuary Scholarship, it would be worth just looking at these state supports to see if you could be eligible. As I'd noted, only applicants who are ineligible for state supports are eligible to apply for the Sanctuary Scholarship. And when scholars become eligible for state support, they must progress from UCD Sanctuary to state support, but you get support to do that while you're on the Sanctuary Scholarship. So SUSI, if you go onto the SUSI website, you can actually do an eligibility checker, and that will give you an indication as whether you could be eligible for SUSI or not. It's really straightforward. It's just a series of questions. So applicants who've been granted asylum or leave to remain and have been resident in the EU for 3 of the past 5 years may be SUSI eligible. And applicants who are protection applicants, or a person at leave to remain stage for a combined period of 3 years or more, and who has not had a deportation order issued against them, may be eligible for the International Protection Student Scheme. And both of those are linked here on the slides, which we'll share, so that you can look at them and see if you might be eligible for them or not. Okay, that's it. So we'll stop the recording now, and we can move on to the Q&A section. And just to say thanks to everyone for coming, and that we'll put the recording on our website so you can watch it afterwards. So I'm just going to stop the recording now. Just 1 second.